What's up, people? Nature Girl 30 here in the orange bandana. And I just got done watching WWE Battleground pay per view for Sunday night. And honestly, y'all, let's be real here. This pay per view was, in comparison to WrestleMania 27, well, what I mean by that is WrestleMania 27 was just nothing but a transition to WrestleMania 28. It's the same thing with this pay per view, except that this was a transition for SummerSlam. And honestly, some of the matches were half done. We didn't even see Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose. But in a way, that's a good thing. It actually does hype up the feud even more. As you can tell, there's a lot of animosity between these guys. So honestly, they really did a good job in actually hyping up that match. And I'm looking forward to seeing that for SummerSlam. So I got no beef with it. But the biggest beef that a lot of people had on Twitter um, was when the Miz actually won the IC Championship and kind of took it away from Dolph Ziggler. As much as I love Dolph, let's be real, the Miz has been trying to get in where he fit in for a very long time, to the point where he was nearly X'd out of the WWE. Shoot, for being interrupted during the Hall of Fame for this year's for WrestleMania 30, for the WrestleMania 30's Hall of Fame, to literally having to rant in order to get on the air, at least have 5 minutes. It's kind of good that he actually does have the IC Championship. Plus, he's a pretty decent heel, and he will actually do a good job being the IC champ for a while until Bad News Barrett actually gets healed up. But honestly, guys, as you can see, I am yawning because that's pretty much how the pay per view was for me. It really wasn't all that interesting, but I will say that the Battle Royal was a highlight of the night. It did actually get me interested in it, and it was pretty great to watch. I was wondering if Sheamus was going to win. I was hoping that Sheamus was going to win, because it would be nice to unify the United States title as well as the IC title and make it an undisputed IC title, because it would make sense, and it would actually bring a lot more to the mid card if you were able to combine the belts. But as you can see, they still haven't unified the main title yet, so I doubt they're going to unify anymore. But moving on from there, the Divas match that they had two Divas matches tonight. They had a kickoff match, and then they also had the match that was on the card. I didn't see the match between Cameron and Naomi, but from what I heard, it won typically by a roll up, and I had a feeling that Cameron was going to win in a very cheap way, which kind of makes me mad. But I was hoping that somehow, I was hoping that somehow Naomi would just beat the ever loving crap out of Cameron and wouldn't see her for a while, but that didn't happen. And as for Paige versus AJ, it was a pretty decent match. I'm not gonna lie. These girls really went all out. The one thing that kind of disappointed me was there wasn't a lot of submission holds that was done by Paige. But Paige was able to break the Black Widow, like I predicted. This chick knows every counter and every technical move. She is really well versed in technician moves, and she's really well versed in submission holds as well as counters and being able to break out of them. So I kind of predicted that she was going to be able to break out of the Black Widow. But then having to win, AJ Lee won by the Shining Wizard, which is in a way one of the cheapest moves she could ever do, and there's no way that a move like that can knock anybody out. It was a given that, she was booked to win, but I'm kind of happy that happened because it would have made the belt look cheap. So I got no beef with AJ winning, but I'm hoping that we'll actually see a rematch at SummerSlam, because that should be really, really good. But I know that Naomi is supposed to be on the rise, actually getting the Divas title, but probably not at the moment. But it would really be nice to see another rematch or another match with Paige versus AJ. But honestly, y'all, all the other matches that were on the card I didn't really much care about. Jericho versus Bray Wyatt, it was good. It was okay. But in the end, Bray Wyatt ended up losing, but it didn't make Bray Wyatt look bad. It was actually a pretty good match. Bray Wyatt did have the upper hand. Chris Jericho did give it his all. It was a really good match. It was a decent match to watch. I didn't really care much about it, though, because I feel like this is more of a SummerSlam match than it is for a Battleground match. So it really didn't feel that awesome to me. Like that sheer awesomeness that's like, yay, I didn't really see that. But it wasn't a bad match. It really wasn't at all. But as for the tag team match was pretty high paced. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty high paced and pretty quick moving. But I kind of knew the Usos were gonna retain because the only possible way that Rowan and Harper will actually take the tag team titles is if Bray Wyatt actually wins that night. If Bray Wyatt becomes champ, then you know they're gonna become champs, and that's gonna make the Wyatt family the most dominant psychotic faction in WWE. So until he wins, they're not gonna win. That's just how it is. So I kind of predicted that. But either or, the Usos won, great, peachy. But the main event of the night was the night that actually got a lot of people puzzled and scratching their heads and wondering what was going to happen. For this reason, we all know that John Cena is going to be leaving to actually perform a role in the movie. He's going to be in a movie, so he's going to be gone for a few months. So we were wondering how the title was gonna drop, whether or not he was gonna lose the title to Roman Reigns, or whether or not he was gonna keep the title and somehow just disappear on Raw the following night. I doubt that they're gonna have a title match on Raw. I doubt it, and if they do, I'll be shocked. And that will really make the belt look worthless than it isn't. I mean, it isn't worthless right now, but it will make it look worthless if they actually decide to drop it off to someone else on Raw tomorrow night. But I doubt they're going to do that. I just think that John Cena is just not going to be there. Or they're just going to say he has an injury and he's going to be gone for a while. And knowing that John Cena retained kind of sort of shocked me a bit. But then in a way, I'm like, okay, well, that happened. So, and you know, what's going to happen for Raw? Which makes me wonder, what are they going to do when John Cena's gone for a few months? And he's champ now. So are they going to do it the cheap way like they do with the Divas and have him lose the belt on Raw? I hope they don't do that. I mean, that would really make the belt kind of look weak. But I don't know. We'll see on Monday night. But guys, I really want to hear your personal thoughts. My personal overall thoughts is this. Raw was just, not Raw, but there were a few things they actually did on the pay-per-view that should have been done on Raw, such as the Goldust and Stardust segment. That's usually done on Raw. Why would you do it on a pay-per-view? I mean, I don't know. But that's just a little thing, a little pet peeve of mine. But my overall thoughts is this. Battleground was a transition to SummerSlam. That's all it was. The matches themselves were just going to be teasers leading on up to SummerSlam, which is kind of a letdown because Battleground last year was horrible. You kind of want to have a decent pay-per-view for people to be interested in SummerSlam. Not just, have hit or misses, or at least several misses and one hit. And that's just what it felt like to me. It just felt like that Battleground did not feel like a Battleground. It felt like a transition to a Battleground, not an actual Battleground. And I wanted it to actually live up to this name, to have the overall theme live up to its name, but once again, it didn't. But guys, I want to hear your personal thoughts about Battleground. Leave a comment in the comment section below and send me a video response on what you think about this pay-per-view and what you would do to actually change it and whether or not you're looking forward to SummerSlam. But guys, I'm about to dip out. This is Girl 30 signing out. Peace out. Later.